welcome to Inspiring Women with ADHD. Today for Mindfulness Monday, that's a mouthful, I'm going to show you my favorite kind of breathing technique that I use in most of my yoga classes that helps relieve stress. And you can do it standing, you can do it seated, you can do it lying down, but usually we kind of sit up tall and stuff. But if you're driving in your car, you can do it while you're driving and just don't do the arm parts and just do the breathing parts. But the arm movements help you understand what the lungs and the throat are supposed to do. And so I'll show you with arm movements. But if you're standing or seated, just start with your hands together at your heart. And you can have your hands close together, the palms close together, or they can just be kind of soft in the middle, kind of like the fingertips are just touching. And find how you want to sit up tall. If you're on a chair, chairs are not designed to sit tall. So you have to sit at the edge of the chair to sit tall. And have the shoulders over the hips and the ears over the shoulders. Most of the time, chairs make us go back, so the shoulders are back behind the hips. See how once I start talking about this, I could just talk about every detail, but I'll just continue with the breathing. So it's called Ujjayi Breath, and sometimes people call it ocean breath. Sometimes they call it all kinds of things, Darth Vader breath, whatever. But we're just going to call it stress relief breathing. And start with your hands together at your heart. And as you breathe in, we're going to widen with the arms. It doesn't have to be super wide arms, but it can just be soft, wide, opening with a kind of a curve to the arms. And that is going to be mimicking what's happening in the throat. At the very base of the throat, if you breathe in from there, you will expand more in the upper body, have more room to have widening in the lungs and have that space for the lungs to fill up as much as they can. So as you inhale, widen at the base of the throat, and you can widen with your arms too. And as you exhale, push that air out from the same place, the base of the throat. And I think of pushing out, but for some reason with the arms, it doesn't quite do that as well. Like if you went out wide and then you kind of go, I guess you could. Let's do it. Usually in yoga, we bring it back together. But as you inhale, it's like saying E-H. As you exhale, it's like saying ha, H-A. But with your mouth closed, it won't sound the same. So if you want to start with your mouth open, go for it. If you want to practice this kind of breathing with your mouth open for a while, do that until you really know what it feels like in your throat. And then your body will just know how to do it. But you still have to be mindful because it's not our natural way of breathing. So as you inhale, do that and then exhale that ha. You can push the arms out, but I'm just going to do more out wider and inhaling wide and that ha. With the mouth closed, it doesn't sound like an anymore. It sounds like a but just keep going, inhaling wide. Exhale that ha. And I'm going to count with you, inhaling wide, 2, 3, 4, and exhaling thorough, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 or 6. Sometimes the exhale can be longer. Inhale wide. Exhale that ha. Like you're heating up a window with your mirror, a mirror window with your breath and making that fogged up mirror. One more here, that wide, expansive inhale. And then pause for a bit, still breathing, but not thinking about it quite as much. So something that happens a lot of times when we breathe in, just our normal breathe in deep, our shoulders go up. And I think of it more like when you are drinking through a straw, you're breathing in, right? To get that drink in through the straw, your smoothie or whatever. And when you do that, the smoothie comes up from the straw. And when you breathe in, it also feels like the air is coming up and it's coming like your shoulders will actually lift. So without thinking of the eh and the ha, just do a deep breath in. And for me, my shoulders lift, and in my exhale, my shoulders relax. And that's good. We want our shoulders to relax, right? Because we take a lot of tension in here. But as you inhale with the throat widening first, your shoulders won't lift as much or at all. So do one more shoulder lifting breath, kind of like that straw thing. That's kind of that tall shoulder lift, and that, and then the widening of the throat is the wider, not as much shoulder, and then that exhale, that ha. If you like to rearrange furniture, you push a dresser across the room or a couch across the room. That's what it feels like when you're pushing the air out on that exhale. It's that widening and then that pushing, push broom in a gymnasium or something. All those visuals that who knows if you have or not. Now let's go ahead and do this for 10 breaths, okay? As you inhale, widen, exhale that ha. Two more. And the last one. And then just let your arms relax. I stopped moving my arms at some point. You don't have to move them the whole time, but it's good to warm up for a yoga class or just to get that visual of we're widening the upper body, the lungs are expanding, and then we're letting go. Another thing is you're not holding your stomach in, like, oh, hold in your abdominals. You're not doing that while you breathe in, or you will prevent your ability to breathe in as much. Because if you hold in your abdominals, the diaphragm can't push back down as much when the lungs open. So it's kind of like it's pushing against the lungs and they can't expand as much. So all those little things to help you see that this method can help you get in new, fresh oxygen. And as you exhale, you're pushing it out as much as you can because you will have more room for more oxygen to come in. And so it's a very cleansing breath. We often breathe in and out through the nose. It's more of a clean air coming in through the nose. The nose is designed to filter that. And you can also stay calm in the jaw because we take tension in the shoulders, take tension in the neck. We feel that sometimes when we get headaches, all in here. And the jaw is part of all that. So keeping the mouth closed, but still feeling that in the throat is really helpful. Because I tend to overthink things. Sometimes I think, well, I'm in a yoga class and I'm trying to relax in my mouth and I'm trying to breathe, and it could be just like a relaxing pose at the end or something. But technically, I am tensing up in my mouth because I'm trying to keep it closed. And my natural mouth position, you can try yours, isn't closed. It's like my lips are apart. I don't know why, but they are. So to actually bring my lips closed all the way, I am using some muscles there to do that. And if you find that you are too, then just let there be a little separation with your lips. That's okay. You can still not breathe through the mouth with doing that. You know, maybe a little air gets in through the mouth. Who knows? But we're initiating it with that widening of the throat and the breathing in through the nose. I'm not doing the straw thing, with the mouth, and it's the mouth's just passive. So all those little things, and I know it's a lot, but I find with ADHD, often we are very curious and we want to know how things work. And we also have a hard time keeping our brains not shut down, but keep all these thoughts from coming into our heads. And so when that's happening and we're just like thinking, it's like, well, how am I supposed to slow down and relax? How am I supposed to do this slow breathing? How am I supposed to do meditation? How am I supposed to do yoga when I have so many ideas in my head? How am I supposed to fall asleep? All those questions. So if you have a curious mind, you can just notice things while you're breathing. It might sound like, oh, there's nothing to do, I'm just sitting here breathing. No, you can get curious about yourself. You can get curious about what is the timing of each inhale and exhale. And it's not like it's a competition, like, oh, I'm trying to breathe in for 8 counts. And I always do counts instead of seconds because who knows what seconds are. We're not looking at a clock. But as you inhale and you're just noticing the timing, the inhale, like if you're laying down or seated, often it can be like 5 or 6 counts in. Maybe that was 7. Maybe my count was a little faster. And then your exhale can be the same or a little longer. And there are different breathing techniques where you're holding that, you're breathing in, hold, breathe out, hold. This isn't one of them. This is a breathe in. There's a natural pause in between. I think of it like the swing on the swing set. If you swing high enough on a swing set, and I know now kids swing sets, they don't make them as high up as they used to in the olden days. But if you swing up, there's kind of like this part where it pauses at the top. It can be kind of scary when you really swing high when you're a kid because it kind of goes whoop and then it falls again with gravity. But that's how it is with breathing. Is you're breathing in, there's just this little natural pause, and then you exhale. So you're not forcing the pause, but it's something that calms the body. It's the way the body works. You have that natural pause, and that's okay. So you can notice your timing. You can notice what it feels like in your body. How's my body moving while I do this? You can notice where it feels like the air is coming in and out. Because often when you're slowing down to breathe like this, you don't just feel like it's coming in through the nose. You don't just like you might feel this expansion in the upper body, and then it feels like the air is coming in and out of the upper body. But I even feel like the air is coming in and out of my skin. And I know it's technically not, but if I'm laying there, it feels like, it's coming out and it's coming in. And that may be just feeling that tension, feeling that energy come in and then feeling it come out. So there are just a lot of things. And some people say geeking out about it. I don't think about it geeking out about it. I think it's like appreciating who you are, noticing what it's like to be in your body. Because we have these bodies, we know, like we have a heart, we have a brain, we have all these things. But unless you're a surgeon that's actually looking at these things, we don't really know what they look like. We don't really know what our own look like. Even if we have an MRI or an X-ray, we don't really know. And I just think that's crazy. Like we have these bodies our whole lives, and we don't really know what that's like what's really happening in a lot of ways, right? In our bodies, and especially when we get sick or injured, it's like, what's really happening? And you get a guess and you don't really know, like, why is my finger swollen right now? I don't know. It feels like I sprained it. Why? I don't know. I don't know. Swollen at the knuckle. But I can get curious about just the little things, the timing of my breathing, the movement of my body, my ability to relax. And this can be super helpful for you because our lives are busy. They don't seem to be slowing down. And so if you take a little bit of time, it could just be 5 minutes in the morning or 5 minutes at night. It could be while you're at a stoplight. You don't have to do this for a certain amount of time. You can do it while you're at a stoplight. You can do it while you're standing in line at the store. All the waiting things that often, if you have impulse control issues and that part of the ADHD, the hyperactive part, using the part of your brain that likes to be curious and likes to learn more or just wants to appreciate who you are, because I don't know anybody on the earth who's curious about how I breathe, except for like if I go to the doctor, obviously. But like, really, like why not appreciate who we are and what our bodies feel like and what it's like to slow down. And if we're able to slow down, and it's not that we have this goal of I've got to slow down, I've got to slow down. We're just slowing down to notice, just enjoy being in our bodies and the being that we are inside of our bodies, because we're not our bodies are part of us, but like the real essence of who we are is not that. But we can notice this experience that we're having in our bodies, and I think that's pretty fascinating. And it's a nice break from everything else that's going on in life, right? So that even in itself is a stress reliever, because it's like going on a little vacation. You're getting a little retreat from your day. Some people do self-care by going to get a pedicure. Some people get a massage. Some people go to the beach. They do all these things. You could do this. You can just give yourself this time. You can even do it laying down. One of my favorite things, if you're watching on YouTube, or this is where I teach yoga in here. But one of my favorite things is legs up the wall. And you literally just go to the wall, but you can also use a couch or something or a bed. And you put your legs up. And the wall is one of my favorite yoga props. And you lay down And you can scooch all the way there. And this is a cabinet, so you can just improvise. It could be a door, but just make sure you lock it. But your feet can be straight up. Your feet could be wider. Just always do that slowly. All those things, all those ways that you can lay down and relax. If you're using a chair, your calves and your feet can be on the chair, but you can elevate the feet. Also a little vacation for your body, right? All those things that you can do, and then you can notice your breathing. You can slow your breathing down and then stop noticing your breathing. Like if you're doing something to relax like that, you could take a nap. You could do Shavasana, which is still being awake, but your body, like your brain's not aware on the same level. It's kind of like when you almost fall asleep, but you're not asleep, but it's super soothing and wonderful. And yeah, yeah, that's it. My mindfulness Monday, Ujjayi breathing. I think it's Ujjaye. Wait, I can't even. Ujjayi. I meant I, but I said E. Do you ever do that? Where you say the wrong thing, but it's in your mind, right? It just doesn't come out right. Story of my life. Thank you for being here. And send me any requests that you have for Mindfulness Monday. I have a lot of tips as a yoga teacher for so long. I have a lot of tips, and especially for not only stress relief, like to take a break in your day, but you can even do this when you're in a stressful situation with other people, like when they're talking to you. You don't have to be loud about it. Some people think they have to be really loud about breathing techniques and breath work, but you can do it. You want to hear your breathing. You want to get enough raspiness. There's some texture there with that. There's some, I don't know if you can hear that, some texture with the widening and some texture with the ha, but you can do it while you're talking to people and you're a little stressed out for whatever reason, and just do it. And not only to relieve stress, but just to even tune into the moment. Because maybe you're really enjoying being with those people and you just go through life so quickly that you're not really savoring the moment. It's like when you eat something and you're eating it so fast you don't even really know what it tastes like after the first bite. You just keep scarfing it down. I've done that before. It's like you're not even enjoying the bite because you're trying to eat the next bite so fast. And we can do that with breath work like this. Is just sit and enjoy the moment, enjoy the people you're with, and all of that. So that's it for this episode. It is short, it is sweet, and hopefully helpful. Do some Ujjayi breathing. Give yourself, you can even set a timer and do it, but have the in sound be really calming. And set the timer for as much time as you have. You don't have to have it be like, oh, I only have 10 minutes. You can do Shavasana, what I did, legs up the wall, for 20, 30 minutes. It's good for you to have your feet up high. It's really good for your body. But anyway, I hope this recorded right because, have a new setup. But thank you for being here and let me know how you did. Bye.
Help other women find the show. Rate, review, share with someone you know. Help other women find my show. Rate, review, share with someone you know. Hurry before you forget.
Open windows, broken shadows. Frozen dreams are left for tomorrow. Without a cause, no time for a pause. Rewind, I've run out of time to sing melodies and harmonies. I'm cut short, the silence of sound has yet been found, but not by me.